Wiggins, who's going to share dinner 1, 2, 3. Bonnie is from Virginia. Her team has been booking incredible amount of shows. She has a great ending to her show too. So.
Yesterday over breakfast, I was sharing with Marie's house guests that my team has been on fire about this new theme show. And let me preface this by saying that when a gal on my team, Angie Raby, came up with this idea, I was not on board. It sounded like a lot of work to me, just was not interested in giving it a try until I saw their results. So it's called Dinner Done 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 Dinner Done. And the way it works, I'm going to share the outline of the show. You start with a brief introduction with your guest in a sitting area. As they come in, you ask them to wash their hands, and then you do this brief introduction where you ask everyone to introduce themselves, tell how they know the hostess, and ask what kind of cook are you. Are you a Betty Crocker? You like to follow a box. Martha Stewart, maybe you're a little more creative, a little more comfortable in the kitchen. Are you a Wendy? Do you find yourself in the drive-thru all of the time? Are you an OPF? Do you just like to eat other people's food? So as they're going around the room introducing themselves, I'm just kind of taking mental notes about which station they may be most comfortable in. And at that point, you just explain the format of the show, because the invitation that they received says you've never been to a Pampered Chef show like this one before. So you share the 3 stations, and it's typically a main dish done in the deep covered baker or in the grill pan, an appetizer such as the garlic pull-apart biscuits, and then a dessert done in the brownie pan. And you briefly share about those 3 or 4 power tools. And then you ask them which station they'd be most comfortable working in. And sometimes you have to assign folks, because that person that introduced themselves as a Betty Crocker, they like to follow the box. You may want to put them in the dessert station, because if you don't follow that pineapple upside down cake recipe to the T, you may have an interesting dessert as the end result. And that guest that introduced herself as the one that never likes to cook, does not know how to put a table on the meal, or a meal on the table, in 30 minutes or less, you may want her working with the deep covered baker. And at that point, everyone goes into the kitchen and they start working at their stations. When the dishes are in the oven, at that point you say, okay folks, we're going to go back into the sitting area and have a brief 10 to 15 minute commercial break. Once they're all seated, and you may have still recipes in the oven, and perhaps the host is has the timer, or somebody's making sure to get those out of the oven. When you're back in your sitting area, you hand a index card to Nancy Jo, and the index card says, Bonnie, what do I receive for hosting a fun night out with my friends? Oh, okay, Nancy Jo, you want to know what you're going to receive when you host an in-home show like Marie is doing this evening. And then you go over our hostess benefits. And you can do that with the slide, or you can use the catalog, whichever way that you're most comfortable. And then you're going to hand your next commercial to Denise, and it says, Bonnie, what do you like most about your job? And at that point, you may use the why bag. I tried that. It just wasn't me. I wasn't comfortable with it. I like to use the slide to go through and answer those questions. Then you're going to play your Stealing Hearts, or whichever game you're most comfortable to share the business opportunity. And after you've played that game, at that point, that's when you pass out your prize drawing forms. Now, I use a different prize drawing form that my dear friend Tiffany Foreman, she's the author of that fabulous prize drawing form, and it goes through and asks the series of questions. But the reason that you don't pass those out at the beginning is because they have not heard the hostess benefits. They haven't heard about the business opportunity yet. So of course, if you give that at the beginning, they're going to check no, all the way down. But they're more likely at this point you've probably sparked their interest. again, this somebody shared about I can't remember her name, but she said that she has to feel things, touch things, use things in order to purchase, that she's not a catalog shopper. And that was one of the reasons that I wasn't excited about this show, because you're taking in a lot of product. But this is what the results have been. 3 and 4 bookings at every show. Hostesses that have been holding shows for 6-7 years saying, Bonnie, this is the funnest show I've ever been to. Thank you. I can't wait to do another one. Now, my leader, Angie Raby, is developing, in fact, she's already developed a format for a 1, 2, 3 dinner show for new consultants using the kit, because what's happening is now we're getting more recruit leads and more recruits because they see how easy this is. Remember when the company started promoting the hands-on show, and our recruit leads liked that because they felt like, oh, I don't have to talk. I can, the guests are selling the products. Well, same kind of thing. Now they're seeing that, wow, they feel like the consultant's not doing anything. She's just kind of walking around the room facilitating the production of these 3 recipes. So now these folks are joining our teams.